Now let's talk about logs. If you remember, when we created the API management instance, we have created a log analytics workspace with it. And as you can see here, there are a predefined set of queries you can use straight away to get some result from your log analytics. So let's go ahead and use the number of requests query. And as you can see here, no data has been returned. Although, going to the analytics section, we are able to confirm that our API management has received 13 requests over the last 24 hours. So why those requests are not shown here in the log analytics? And the reason for this is we haven't set up the API management to send the logs to a log analytics workspace. So let's go ahead to the diagnostic settings to see how can we fix this. Then let's go ahead and add diagnostic settings, and let's select gateway logs and all the metrics. And when it comes to the destination, we can select to send our logs to either log analytics workspace or a storage account or to an event hub. And for this case, I'm going to select log analytics workspace, and this is the workspace that we have created before. And then I'm going to select the name for my diagnostic settings to be diagnostic 1. And let's go ahead and save our changes. Now let's go ahead and open our developer portal to get some traffic through the API management so we can capture and see it in the log analytics. Now let's go to APIs, echo API, let's select retrieve resource API, and let's send some requests. Now let's get back to the log analytics. Now let's go ahead and run some queries. As we said before, those are predefined queries that will help you to get some analytics about your API management. Now let's go ahead and run number of requests query. And as you can see here, we had 17 calls to our API management during one day. Also, you can use all of these queries to get some information and analytics about your API management, like number of calls per API. If we run this query, you will be able to see that all of these calls targeted echo API. And also, if you go to tables here, you are able to see API management gateway logs, and it includes different kinds of attributes and columns that you can use to create your own query to get more data about your API management. Now let's go ahead and expand the time range to be the last 7 days. And let's run the query one more time. As you can see here, only 17 calls for echo API. And the reason for this, API management starts to export the logs and metrics to the log analytics workspace from the time we configured the diagnostic settings and instructed the API management to export its logs and metric to the log analytics workspace. Any logs or metrics prior to that point will not be exported to the log analytics workspace. That's why it's very important to make sure you configure your API management to export its logs and metrics to log analytics workspace from the get-go, especially for the production instances. That's it for this lecture. I hope you enjoyed it, and please feel free to join me in the next lecture.